Talk about episode 1 first. Testing, yes sir. We're live.
Yes, sir. We live or recording?
We're recording.
All right.
All right, so let's talk Last of Us because we just finished episode 2 and we didn't do an episode 1.
Yeah, because
so yeah, let me turn myself up a little bit.
yeah, let's talk about episode 1 first. Let's
Okay,
go like
so-
not minute by minute, but let's try to go in order like the shit we liked about it,
Okay.
how it went.
So episode 1, I actually liked episode 1. Episode 1 was interesting. Episode 1, what happened? Episode 1.
That was a week ago, goddamn.
Yeah, I know it's hard to remember.
Yeah, we got to though, just for the.
Oh dang.
It started off. How did it start off?
It started
off
with
in the 1970s.
I actually like that it started that way. I like that little,
And I guess for people that are uneducated, it explained how it's
It said
unhealable,
uneducated.
unhealable, and the way it it started on bugs, and our body is too hot for it to occupy us.
It was kind of just explaining how the infection of that mushroom was possible, but not even possible. But the fact that if it were to happen, there wouldn't be a cure.
Yeah, it
but
wouldn't
it's
be a
currently
cure.
not possible because it can't survive in our body temperature.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It's kind of like introducing you to.
And I like the way they did it, like a retro '70s show. And
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
They did that
talking
shit
about it like years ago, and then it
Years
happens
ago.
2023.
Well, that's another thing. I don't get it because in the show it says 2022 or 2023, like when it started. But doesn't the game take place 2013?
I mean, I don't think it really matters.
Like I don't think
honestly.
it matters.
Yeah, I don't think
but
it matters.
I remember in Last of Us 2, when you're in Ellie's room, there's a PS3 since that was the last console to come out at the time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they'll have PS5s. They'll have PS5s. But for one,
I'm trying to think of the things that happened in episode 1.
a lot of things happen. So
It's
it's kind of interesting how the show is trying to take piece by piece of the video game.
I'm gonna point something out that
I don't know if I like or hate that yet. I don't know.
Yeah,
if I like or hate
I'm gonna
that.
say something I said earlier off the pod before we started to do it is I don't like how they're trying to be exactly like the game at the wrong moments.
They do it at the right moments too sometimes, but it's like now that I'm seeing it kind of mirroring the game, I'm expecting it to, and then when it doesn't, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, like they're being on track. Like when they're driving in the car, the burning building, they had the exact signs when they saw the people on the
burning
road.
building, the people
all
on
that,
the road.
But then
sometimes it was line for line from the video game.
What are
What are you doing?
Killing
time.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
I'm sure you'll figure that
What
out.
am I supposed to do?
I'm sure you will figure that out.
But then I don't mind it being different from the car crash, but then it tries to be different with an airplane that makes zero sense.
I did not like the airplane.
It visually
looked cool.
looked
Yeah,
cool,
it looked cool.
But one piece, probably like an airplane wheel bouncing to the car. Yeah, no.
In the situation, a car accident makes way
And
more
they tried
sense
getting
to
you
me.
with the car accident. Remember, the car came and it
They
stopped.
finessed me. They broke my
finessed me.
neck.
I was like, oh
they broke
shit,
my
what they
neck
doing?
with that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the
And that's
airplane. It felt unrealistic. Even though it's cool. An airplane crashing makes sense, but for the plane to crash and then for a piece to come and hit the car,
Yeah, tip
then
it over and
the piece hitting the car is what causes her leg to break.
yeah, exactly.
See what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. It makes way more sense for it to be a car accident.
That's what I'm saying. And another thing at the very beginning of the episode that I'm remembering is, excuse me. I had to it was there. I had to take it out. And push it.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the episode, we see Tommy at the house, which I don't mind. But I wish instead of Sarah going outside of the house and going to the grandma's house, I fucked with that. I like that they.
It was
did that.
weird with Tommy because the way they introduced Tommy, he kind of just pulled up out of nowhere, like, "Oh, we gotta go."
Like in the game, he calls up the phone. Oh, where's your dad? Where's your dad? Pulls up in a car, and then Joel walks through the door, and there's a zombie banging at the window, and he breaks in. Get back here! I don't want to get outside.
And that shit was scary, bro.
That shit was
when you're
scary.
like, "Yo, something just killed that dog." You didn't get that. You just
didn't
had the
get
dog just
that.
ran away.
I feel like the reason why they did that is because they wanted an excuse on how Tommy they used the Tommy was at jail thing. That's how they got Tommy into the picture instead of him showing up on the phone out of nowhere. They used him
And no, they did that, and it was Joel went to go
pick him up from
pick him
jail.
up, and then they came back to pick up and save Ellie. Instead of Joel was coming home from work.
Oh shit!
Picking up his revolver, putting bullets in the
Yeah, I
damn
remember.
revolver.
Dad,
getting
what's
ready.
happening? What's happening?
What's happening? Then some dude breaks in the freaking door.
I
and
don't
he-
want to kill you. I don't want to
get yeah, exactly. It's so much more serious.
Thanks.
And that show didn't have to do that. But if you're gonna mirror the show, mirror it right.
That's what I'm saying. They mirror it good at the wrong moments.
That's what I'm saying. They should have mirrored that. Was way better than the weird grandma neighbor thing.
Yeah, and I gotta point this out. Like you said, that wheat shit is stupid, and they confirm it in episode 2 about it spreading from the wheat farms and shit like that.
That shit is dumb, and I don't like these little fucking tentacles coming out of their damn mouth.
I didn't mind it at first because it was like, oh,
I hate that shit,
it's
bro.
showing it, but then I don't like how in episode 2 what happened. We'll get to that once we talk about episode 2.
I hate the weird mouth tentacles. It just kind of, it doesn't feel like a zombie anymore.
Yeah,
it feels kind of like an alien.
And one thing I liked is, I don't know how they're doing it since it was like the breakout or whatever, but at the beginning of the, like, you know, when you're in the museum part of the game and you or the hotel and you have to go down, you see zombies that just turned or like turned. They're in the corner crying.
Yeah, they're kind of like they're like slowly turning. They're zombies, turning, but like they're not fully
like in the game.
Yet.
You could straight up walk past them and not mess with them because they're just in the corner freaking out.
Right.
In this game, like Grandma was tweaking out in the wheelchair. Remember, she was tweaking out.
Bro, I think you missed it.
I did miss it because I came back. You're like, what's going on with Grandma? And I was like, what do you mean?
Bro, she was tweaking, bro. And she was scary, bro. I'm not going to lie. That shit was scary.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What else happened?
What happened after that? I like how when you're on the car, it like felt exactly like the game.
Yeah,
the way
like
you pass by the people, the burning house. And then even the city looked almost
identical. But there's one slight detail it's just a nitpick because I'm a big fan of the game. It's like top 3 favorite games. Is like when you're driving on the highway and you realize it's blocked off, and you know how they reverse out of there. But when they first get to the blocked highway, you see people in hospital gowns. Dead, banging on people's car windows, dragging them out and eating them. And they're like, "Oh shit, we gotta go."
Yeah, you didn't get that in the show, bro. You didn't
get that. All that.
I'm not gonna lie. So far, the storytelling and lore of the video game has far surpassed.
Surpassed.
Like the feeling of immersion
in the game
is definitely better in the game so far. Like you see zombies dragging people out of their cars.
Like when you see them drag, you didn't see them eating. You saw on
bro.
Face,
you get on the freeway and you see a zombie just run into a car and start banging on the window. You didn't get any of that in the show. You kind of, when you got to the city, you got it.
And I understand because, like, in episode 2, where they're at when they got to the dome area in the courtyard or whatever,
like
that's
the
like
city center.
We're on episode 2, but in the game, that's like what 3-4 hours in already. So they're like skipping. I think they're skipping past details just to get the show going quicker. Because if they go, like,
stop it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say stop it. I'm gonna be honest.
Stop that.
Make Last of Us 1, 2, 3 seasons, and I'll be fine if they do it.
I'll be happy.
And I drag it out because I know they're gonna drag it out.
They might as well. They're gonna make money. People are gonna watch it. Take your time.
And I know.
Take your time.
Like,
do it right.
I'm not saying HBO is bad because they do make good shows, but I know they're not gonna do season 1 Last of Us 1, season 2 Last of Us 2, and they're done with this series. No, they're gonna drag it out 5 seasons,
and that's okay. That's if they do it right.
If they do it right, and to me, episode 1 blew me away on how cool it was.
I liked episode 1. I was jitty, man. I was like, I was excited. I was like, yeah, it's just like the game. I'm loving it. And then like zombies and stuff. The only thing that's bothering me so much is the zombies aren't the same.
Yeah.
They're like,
oh yeah, when Grandma was. That's another thing I like scientifically, and I know this is cool and all, but I have a question. So Grandma was stuck in the wheelchair. But then when she got affected by the virus, she was up like she was 20 years old.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Because her bones are literally fragile. They're skinnier. Her joints don't work no more. So how is she up and running? It would have made more sense if it was like the grandma turned, like the mom or the dad died, not the girl in the wheelchair.
I kind of wish she just never went in their house and the zombie came through her freaking glass door, just like the damn video game. Because apparently they want to do everything else like the video game. Do that scene like the video game.
Yeah,
and that's one of the coolest scenes that gets you hooked to the game.
Literally,
and it's
that part was so cool, bro. Like,
instead, you get a freaking crippled grandma,
and then
using tentacles to eat her daughter. Shit is weird, bro.
And that's another thing. Like I said, they're not trying to go scene for scene, maybe to make the show go faster. Because you know that time when he's carrying Sarah, and it takes like a 10-minute part of the game where Tommy's protecting you. That's another thing. Like that whole revolver thing, that brings in the revolver that when he picks up Sarah when she's crippled, hey Tommy, protect us, take the gun, and you see him visually protecting you. Or when you get attacked by
you
the
didn't get any
zombie
of that. They just separated them and he came back later.
And that's another thing. I will say one thing they did kill was when Sarah got shot. They killed that scene. But one thing
they did that right. That was a good part. They did that right.
They did that right. But there's still one nitpick. Like I said, I'm a big fan is like in the game, you hear him say, but it's just a kid. And then Joel's like, oh, shit, it's about to happen. We're not sick. But in the game, he's like, copy that. Okay, what? Okay, but in the
game,
you
didn't get it's just
in
a
the
kid.
game, you should. It's a kid. Like he says that shit. Like damn, it's a kid, bro. Chill. Like now you don't get that. He just says, "Yep, copy."
Like damn, I'm saying, the world in the video game is a lot more immersive, and it feels more. What would a person do in that situation? Yeah. It feels more closer to that.
And I know the show's trying to be realistic with the no spores and the weed thing, which I find stupid. But they're trying to be realistic, but it doesn't.
It feels like they're not being realistic.
The game
though.
feels more realistic and more immersive than the show trying to be realistic in real life.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the show's trying to be different, and when it does choose to be different, it's making it less realistic.
They try to be inaccurate to the show to be different at the worst.
We pretty much covered episode 1, do we? No, episode 1 goes deeper because it was a long episode.
Yeah, that was an hour and 20-minute episode. What also? Rob.
That blew too.
They're skipping things just to go faster to progress the show.
And it's like, stop it, bro.
And I understand. Like, don't get me wrong.
We don't know if the viewers have seen or played the game, so they might not even know how much of a arc Rob really was.
On social media, I be seeing, oh, my friend watching the show for the first time, me as a gamer knowing what's gonna happen. Like people who haven't seen the show are gonna be like, this shit fire as fuck.
And I've seen this, and I've already played the game, and it's like,
played the game 5 times, bro.
What happened to that? What happened to this? What happened to that?
Yeah.
And it's kind of you shouldn't go into the show thinking that way. And I'm trying my best to be objective. I'm trying my best to kind of just like, oh, it's a show. It's not my game that I grew up with.
It's a show in a game that we grew up with that they're trying to be scene for scene. And I've seen social media on YouTube Shorts and TikTok where it's literally like it's in sync line for line with Ellie.
That's what I'm saying. They're picking and choosing what time to be like the video game, and then the ones they're choosing, I'm not really agreeing with.
And I'm sorry, in my opinion, they are trying so hard not to have PvP. I know it's a game. PvP. They're trying so hard not to have human interact with evil people like bandits. Because you know when Rob stole their guns in the show, you have to go out. I understand
that's the Rob arc that we were talking about.
I understand it's a little unrealistic to kill 30, 40 people in the beginning of the game.
So if you guys haven't seen or played the game, in the show, when Tess and Joel are going to go look for that battery, remember that guy stole the battery from them. Remember was it Tess? It was Tess who was strapped up in the chair.
Tess that was strapped up talking to Rob.
And Rob was kind of like interrogating her because he was scared that because he did her wrong that she was going to get revenge. And he lets her go eventually because she persuades him. When he lets her go in the game, she comes back she comes back so hard, bro, heavy with Joel. She gets Joel. They get packed up, and they pull up on their whole crew. And I know it's a game, so they're murdering like 30 people.
Yeah, like I said, it's a little unrealistic.
It's unrealistic that you're murdering 30 people. Like so you can reduce it to like 4 or 5. You can make it 4 or 5 people that you needed to get through to get to.
Just make it like
to show you how dark Joel and Tess are. And they're willing to fuck anyone up who bothers them, who gets in their goddamn way.
And they always talk about how they're so menacing and they've done fucked up shit.
And they don't. Where? That's what I'm saying, bro. In the show, they're even talking about how we're not good people, but the whole time I've seen them only be good people.
Literally. The only thing they talk about in Last of Us More 2 is how Joel and Tommy did some fucked up. Like, you know that thing where you point on the map and it doesn't match your buddy, I'm gonna fuck you up. They said that Joel and Tommy in the younger days did fucked up shit. Like, they were crazy to survive.
And they're not showing us that.
They're not showing us that. I understand he's older, but they're not showing us that oomph of him being menacing.
Right. And so if we go back to the Rob arc, the Rob arc really does a good punch of character development for Tess.
Especially for Tess. Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying for Tess. It shows you that Tess is not to be fucked with.
And it like, in my opinion, it makes Tess look like the female leader. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she was slick being.
She looks like a don't fuck with Tess.
She like don't fuck with Tess for real.
I'm not getting that in the show.
I'm not getting that at all.
In the game, freaking Tess and Joel finally catch up to Rob after obviously going through a large amount of
and it wasn't
people.
Even catching up with them. They came to them already dead on the floor. Remember?
Yeah, in the show they came to Rob, and Rob
was like a slick hour.
Rob was already murdered by apparently a couple of Fireflies, which we never got the reason of why the Fireflies even had beef with Rob.
They just interact.
It's like, we just pulled up, and apparently the Fireflies and Rob had beef.
Yeah, in the game, he stole the guns to sell to the Fireflies.
You didn't even get that interaction with that either.
And like I said, I guess it's unrealistic, and something in the game they'll give you 20 enemies to kill because it's a game. Like you said, give them 5 enemies, but they're not fighting AI. They're fighting humans, so humans will interact differently. They're smarter than an AI having a route track.
Right.
So 5 people will be difficult in a real life situation
rather than
AI.
you having to. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
The
so you can make it 5 people, 4 people, just to show you how menacing
20
Tess
AI
and
is
Joel
to make
are,
the game harder.
and show you that they're willing to murk human beings to get what they want because somebody fucked with them.
I don't like how there's no killing.
And when Tess and Joel finally catch up to Rob is over here. He gets stuck up in a corner. He gets basically cornered. And he's like, all right, guys, I'm sorry. And the whole time he's running. You literally chase down Rob in the game. You chase him down, and he's running. He's doing parkour and shit. You're climbing over tables, fucking breaking down doors and shit just to get to Rob. In the show, he's already dead. Boom, on the floor. You don't interact with him. You just find the battery. Oh, that's the thing we needed. And the
battery was dead anyway.
The battery was murked.
Battery.
And then freaking they pull up on Rob in the game, and he begs for mercy or whatever, and she freaking like breaks his freaking shins in with a pipe, bro.
He says, "Oh, tell me where the guns are." I'm not telling you. And Joel grabs his arm, and Joel's like, Tess is like, "Do it." Breaks his arm.
Right, you break his arm, bro.
And then after that, I don't like you said. Tess did something. I'm pretty sure with
and
the
they
metal
trip him
thing.
by piping his shins,
Tess
bro.
And then after that, she didn't. Tess took over and I think beat his legs or broke his leg with something. I swear.
They kill him.
They kill him literally.
They shoot him in the face.
And what's her name? The black girl. I forgot her name. The one
the
that
leader of the Fireflies.
The leader of the Fireflies come out and say, "Did you just kill him? We needed Rob."
Exactly.
But then in the show, they just killed Rob.
You needed Rob. Why'd you kill him? So it just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
They just skipped so much important arc in that character development for Tess especially. Really, that whole arc is to show you how menacing Tess is. Yeah. You kind of already know that Joel's menacing because, well, he's the main character. You know he's going to be menacing. He's going to do what he needs to do to protect the people he loves or to even just get his job done. But Tess, you don't really know anything about her. She's kind of a side character. And in the show, can we do spoilers? This is spoilers, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We should have done like a 5-minute non-spoiler, or we should have done like spoiler warning. So when you might have to edit this and say like a split second.
We'll do it. This will be spoiler warning, and then from our forward episodes from here.
Yeah, we'll be more.
We'll do like the first 5 minutes will be no spoilers. And then we'll just go spoiler deep.
And we're trying to catch up on a whole episode. Like, we didn't have an idea to do
We didn't think to do this off the first episode. We kind of watched it with family and stuff. We were busy.
Second episode, we're talking about it, and I'm like, shit, we should do a podcast.
We're deep into the second episode, so we'll do this every episode now. And hopefully we can do this with other shows if you guys really like it. So. But
House of Dragons season 2, that shit would be
House of Dragons. House of Dragons is a little aged now, but we could do House of Dragons.
Yeah, since I'm watching it, or even then season 2 we could do it. That's fine.
Yeah, I could do House of Dragons with you. That's a good one. But
I still haven't finished episode 1.
But with that character development for Tess that you get from the game, and spoiler alert, in season 2, when I said season 2, in episode 2, when Tess dies, I don't give a fuck.
I don't.
When she died in the game, I was like,
because you fucked with her,
she's
you did shit with her,
and you could tell like her and Joel were like they were together.
They actually in the first episode you see it, they fucking laid together in the same bed, bro.
They were bonding
in the first game, and in here when Tess gets jumped or like Joel does. He instantly comes, oh, let me help you up, gets the alcohol and starts helping her wounds.
Right,
like,
and they kind of did that in the second episode.
Yeah, they're locked in for real.
They were for real, and it's like you felt way more empathy for Joel in the game than you did for him in the show when she had to basically die.
Knowing that they're not milking it out, but they are. But knowing that this season, Last of Us 1 is going to go probably as season 2 or 3 maybe in one game, I feel like they should take their time instead of rushing it because we're already so far in
rushing
episode
it already.
2.
They really are rushing it already.
Let's wrap up episode 1. After that, they get Ellie. Ellie, in my opinion, the internet is over roasting her. Like,
yeah, I like Ellie.
I understand.
I think she's doing her part right.
Like, surprisingly,
I think Ellie and Joel are so far now doing everything.
Yeah,
right.
Now that I'm on episode 2 and I'm watching more of Ellie since this whole episode's been with Ellie, I wouldn't mind if they replaced the actor, but I'm already at 2 episodes in, and I actually feel not invested, but I actually really like this actor for Ellie. I think she does her justice.
I don't think she looks like her, but I like her. You don't need her to look like her.
She doesn't need to look like her. Like
Joel doesn't even really look like
Joel.
Joel
doesn't look like Joel. It's just because he's the Mandalorian. Literally, he's just the Mandalorian.
They just gave him the good haircut and the beard. And
I'm gonna be honest.
He doesn't even have the right beard.
He doesn't have the right beard, patchy as hell. And I'm gonna be honest, real shit. if Ellie was what's it called? If Ellie looked nothing like Ellie, but she was a very attractive woman. I understand she's 14 in the show, but if she was if she was actually attractive, like, oh, let's be real, everybody was 14, 15.
But look, nothing like game. Ellie. Nobody would be.
Nobody would care. No, why? Because she's an attractive woman. People would be like horny as hell. The same way they were when they were 13 and 14 playing it for the first time. So they fell in love with that character.
I think it's a bad complaint.
Yeah, I think it's a horrible complaint. It's just people being mean to her for no reason. I actually fuck with that actor.
My main nitpick for so far throughout the whole show is how they're doing Tess dirty.
Yeah, they did Tess dirty.
I don't think Tess was represented correctly. She was a cool character in the game. I felt connection with her, and I was genuinely disappointed when we find out that she's infected, and you're like, damn, that means she's gonna have to. Either someone's going to have to shoot her, something's going to happen. She has to die soon or else she's going to turn into a zombie. I felt way more remorse. And, like, in the show, it was just... And it's not even like, oh, I just seen the show, I already knew this was happening. It was just like, I didn't really give a fuck about Tess. Like, she wasn't cool.
I understand there's a game aspect to the show and there's a show aspect
and even when she passed, Joel didn't even seem like he gave a fuck.
Yeah. But I don't visually. I played Last of Us 1 on my YouTube channel 2 years ago, so I don't visually remember.
Yeah, he didn't really give a fuck in the game either, but he gave a fuck at the moment of finding out.
Yeah, and he gave a fuck later, like when Ellie and they're sitting down and they're like, "I'm sorry about Tess." Joel's like, "You don't say a damn thing about Tess. We keep that silent from here on forward." I hope you see that because that happens later in the future.
Yeah, so I mean, we haven't gotten there in the show yet, so maybe that'll happen later because they like to copy line for line sometimes.
And I fuck what they do. Like I notice it.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
Like,
it's like what's that word? Fan.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you please the fan, I guess.
Yeah.
I forgot the word.
Yeah, I forgot the word. I'm gonna remember that shit.
We'll remember it later. But that pretty much sums up episode 1.
Okay, so they get Ellie, the leader of the Fireflies, says do this, do that. They say we're not smuggling. They smuggle her. Oh, and there's still more of episode 1 we didn't cover. What? When she gets beep, 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 and she's red.
And they find out that she's infected.
In my opinion, they did that wrong. Because it makes
that shit sense. Was ass.
It makes, like, in the game, I understand we're talking about, there's so many enemies, it's unrealistic. In the first game, you only killed, like, 3 people in that area. And there were scouts all over that place because the dude said, be inside by tonight. And in the game, shit was happening. There were tanks. You had to go through the sewer. You were hiding from the flashlights. In the game, it's just straight up skipped to the first dude you sold drugs to.
Right, that was weird. And when he had the gun pointed at them, the fact that Joel was able to get so damn close to him to get into a boxing match was weird.
I do fuck with the PTSD part. I fucked with that.
The PTSD part was cool.
He had no remorse for Ellie. He doesn't fuck with Ellie, but it's like.
But he saw
his daughter in her like a little girl.
He saw the recreation of the situation
that
he had been through with someone similar age.
But in the first game, instead of it being one dude, it was like 3-4 guards.
It was like 3-4 guards. Stabbed the leg, and then he had to like shoot all of them. And it was a cutscene. It wasn't even you were playing the game. No, it was a cutscene.
It was like a good part. They just, like I said, they're trying to be not different, but they're trying to skip past.
It's not even different. It feels lazy.
Yeah, it feels lazy, and they're doing it too fast.
They need to take their time. They need to slow. I know whatever we say is too late, and it's not.
Obviously, the show's recorded. Done. They're just ready to upload. Like, Sunday upload. That's what.
But personally, I think it's being rushed right now.
Yeah.
Still, so far is a good show.
I
wouldn't call it a great show yet.
Okay, so after that, that sums up episode 1 as I could remember. So let's give I'm gonna give my verdict. You're the overall verdict
of episode 1.
I'm gonna give episode 1 like. Now that we're talking, when I first watched it, 9 out of 10. Now that we're talking about it, I'm gonna give it an 8.
I was really off my feet when I first watched it.
When I first watched it, I was happy. I was like, this shit's fine. Like, it was what I wanted. It exceeded my
expectations. I'll say an 8 as well, only because I was extremely.
And it hit my heart. Like,
that part with his
fan,
yeah, it hit me in the emotions because it was just like my childhood kind of was being revived.
Yeah,
I was gonna give it 8.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8 because there's we're gonna next episode.
Really, main thing that really upset me about episode 1 was the freaking things coming out of their mouth. Yeah, that really made it was just like the zombies were just not the zombies, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah,
like,
things that are ticking it down for me is
this isn't what I wanted.
It's not gory enough. Like when I said that dude got dragged out the car, the airplane hitting them, the spores coming out, the fungus coming out of their mouth, Tommy and Joel splitting up instead of helping each other. Those tiny things, like, I'm sorry, it brings it down to an 8. But final verdict, you give it an 8.5.
I got an 8.5.
Episode 1 is an 8.5 verdict done. That's episode 1. That was
Let's continue to episode 2. Where did episode 2 begin?
It began with her sleeping.
It began back in the 80s, remember?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it was this wasn't the 80s because the 80s, the 70s talked about it. Now, this is when the outbreak just started. First and foremost, what the fuck? Wheat? Bread? Yeah, know what? Let's talk about that now.
Wheat?
And what's the dude, the gay guy in Last of Us 1, the fat gay guy?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So, in the trailer, you see him... I'm guessing it's him because it actually good casting. You see him do this, and it starts it cuts to him doing this, like he's taking off a mask. So I don't know if there's gonna be gas masks, but
spores or something.
Yeah, spores. But in the beginning of I watched a tiny interview before it came out. The director, as I've told you before, said spores in real life, or the way it works is it doesn't stay in designated areas like under a basement, in a building. It goes everywhere. It spreads. It's airborne, so that means it will spread everywhere. And he said that's unrealistic, so it wouldn't do that.
It's not airborne in the sense of it'll get carried through the wind. No, it's airborne in the sense of in a damp, compressed area. Where the shrooms are obviously. Like, have you ever stepped on a mushroom and it turned into a freaking cloud? That's not airborne. But if there was 30 pounds of that in a room, obviously it's going to be airborne in that room, which is how it worked in the game.
So I'm going to give it hope because I saw that one scene where he was doing that. I'm going to give it hope that
there better be spores. Because, I'm going to be mad if there's not spores.
Literally, in episode 2, right when it ends off, they run into the train station area. And that's when they jump into spores. And Joel's like, what the fuck? How you breathing spores? And Ellie's like, I told you, I'm immune. That's something that also oomphs on, like, damn, she's really immune in the game.
Yeah, it shows you how, like, her importance and her value.
And so far, they're saying it's spread by fucking wheat.
Yeah, from a plant. Like,
and now that
it would have been cooler if it came from a mushroom, airborne. Somebody got reckless or whatever.
I feel like that's what they're trying to do because in the first game, we understand it's the virus. We all know it's this thing that attacks ants or whatever. So we all know that. But in the game, they never explained at all how it started. It just went fucking nuts. And I feel
you just assumed that it was airborne from a freaking mushroom.
And I feel like in the show, they're trying
to got in your lungs.
In the show, they're trying to explain it. And some things I don't need explained. Some things I just want to happen.
I don't mind them explaining it because I kind of have a pet peeve with a lot of zombie shows. It just happened. And it kind of annoys me. It's like, okay, what do you mean it just happened? I need an explanation. It's always scientists in a lab, something broke out. I don't need that shit.
Yeah.
Can you give me something serious? Which is kind of what they're doing again, if we're being honest.
Yeah, they're saying, I guess the fungus got on some wheat or whatever, and that got into the factories, and that just spread.
I kind of wish it was... My assumption when playing the game was like, okay, obviously the first person who got infected, it was caused by the spores entering their lungs.
Yeah, that makes sense since there's spores everywhere. Somebody stepped on the wrong ant
entered their lungs. The infection started by lungs.
By lungs,
not by consuming bread.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, now that we're talking about this, I could say this in about episode 1 since I didn't want to talk about it until we got on subject about this was, in the first episode, you noticed they dodged the bullet on eating wheat at the beginning. She's like, where's the pancakes? Boom, dodged a bullet. In episode, she goes to their neighbor's house. Oh, we're making some cookies. Raisin. Fuck that. That's nasty-ass raisins. I'm not eating that. Boom. Dodged a bullet. Oh, you didn't bring the cake, Daddy? Pause. You didn't bring the cake, Dad? Oh, damn. I'll get it tomorrow. Dodged a bullet. So, like...
Yeah, it's like it's obviously
from
bread, bro.
Yeah, they're implying way too hard. And then in episode 2, the Indonesians, I'm guessing, since I don't know what they're speaking, they emphasized it started as wheat. And she said...
I don't like that it's coming from bread.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Bread. I'm not gonna lie, but so after the monologue, the little before the cutscene, before the intro. After that, where did this start?
There's more we could say about about the intro. So they test on it. Oh yeah,
there is more. It does kind of get deeper.
Yeah, so they take some random scientist lady into a lab to study this, and she already knows there's no cure, there's no vaccine. This is something you can't help, and what'd she say to?
She said bomb the whole city.
Yeah, to help the thing, to stop it, she said bomb the city. Let me go with my family to say my byes as they bomb the shit. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that was.
I guess
I like that.
I don't mind it. That's slick, realistic.
Cool.
I'm not gonna lie. But and that's another thing. So
she knew the severity of how easily it could spread, and the fact that it is uncurable, unfixable, and if it spreads to multitudes, if one person gets infected and infects one person, that one person can infect two, and it just multiplies by a factor of itself. So factor of 2, factor of 3, factor of 4. It keeps just getting bigger and worse. So she's like, you have to completely eradicate this, or the entire human civilization is at risk. Which
that's
is
another thing.
What happens.
As she's testing on the subject to check out the female substance that got bitten, she goes into the mouth and goes, and she takes scissors, tweezers, and digs out
some of that spores that
usually out their mouth. I don't know. Number one, how'd she know to look in there? Like, it would have made sense if the mouth creeped open and it started crawling out, but it was dead. So
yeah.
And that's another thing. I got a question, even for the game. Why should, like, in the Walking Dead, the way the virus works is once it enters the body, it wakes up. It could be within hours, days, minutes. It goes into your brain. They explained it when they were in the what's that?
The little science lab area.
The science lab. I forgot what it's called. We have one in Atlanta, which is the one they went to. That helps with viruses.
Yeah, that shit blew up.
Yeah, so they explained a video that visualized how it worked, and it shows that it only wakes up like the bottom of your brain. Like, it goes up your brainstem and stops where, like, just enough to get you moving and eating. So when they shoot the brain, it makes sense to kill it. But, like, how does it make sense when they shoot the brain? How does it kill it?
Yeah, I don't get that either, because it's not in need of the brain to continue moving.
Yeah. Like, that's not even on the show subject. That's just on the game in
mushrooms is
general.
what's taking control of the muscles. It's no longer the brain.
Yeah, that's one thing I never understood. I guess they have to give it some weakness. And that's another thing that's inaccurate. Like, even in the game, like, oh, you got to shoot the brain, but then you could shiv it in the neck and it dies.
But I will say, Joel shot a clicker in the head in the
Twice
show, and it didn't die after the first time.
That also happens in the game. You definitely.
Well, in the game they explained it that the clickers have this kind of calloused mushroom, so it's like armor.
Yeah, and it takes
brain.
About 2 shots to kill them in the game.
Yeah, maybe it does take control of the brain. We don't really know the full grasp of it, but
it may be because, like it says, like the ant, it takes over the host but keeps it alive. They say it keeps it alive so it could slowly. It only says it keeps them alive so it could keep eating to stay alive. Oh, maybe so it keeps the human alive. The human.
Also, speaking of eating, these zombies don't eat.
They kiss. We're gonna get.
We're gonna get there, but they don't eat. Like, there's no half-eaten zombies. There's no zombies missing a foot because some other zombie ate it. The zombies don't eat. They just infect and get on with their day. Which
is slick. The whole it's a zombie game, so give me that. Like, that's what we expect, because like in the actual ants, all they do is they infect. They sit on top of a tree or they go in the hive and they just spread. They don't try to eat. They just spread out to all the ants. So I guess, but like they eat in the shit. They eat.
Yeah.
Like in the game, in Last of Us 2, you see a eaten out deer, laid out.
They eat shit.
I don't know if it's because they get hungry, because like in The Walking Dead,
pretty sure the mushroom needs sustenance.
Yes, but like in The Walking Dead, when the
body needs sustenance, and the mushroom just makes the brain more hungry.
Yeah, because in The Walking Dead, when they don't die of starvation, but the hungrier they get, the crazier they get, because they still need
in The
food.
Walking Dead, the zombies are actually dead.
They're actually dead. Yes,
they're not alive.
They're not alive, but they do have this sense of going like crazier when they need food. Like, it's something you gotta feed zombies if you keep them as a host to keep going.
Right.
So
what happens after the little intro?
The intro
it starts with Ellie laying out on the ground,
and they're like hella protective. Got the M16.
Yeah, they're really
which I don't mind. That makes sense.
Yeah, they're really being careful because they're not 100% sure about Ellie being immune, which they kind of get to near the end of the episode. Because like they see that she's healing rather than getting
compared to what
worse.
Happened to Tess.
Right. So freaking
trying to think what else happened. Okay, at the beginning, they just start exploring.
They're not really exploring. They're going to their destination.
Yeah, they're going to that golden dome that they see on a.
That was the agreed upon location to where they needed to deliver Ellie.
Ellie for the battery. So they go there.
For the guns and everything.
And they're like, we could go the quick way, which they saw was a bridge with a bunch of zombies laying on the floor, and they explained now that we've gotten this point in.
I thought they went the long way.
No, that was the short way. Was where all the zombies were laid out on the highway. So they went the long way, which was the museum.
Right.
But the one thing that I I don't know if you remember me saying this, but you know when the sun, like a cloud, was passing by.
Yeah,
the
and how they
clickers
all
were all
reacted.
reacting to when the sun shadowed.
That's
over
another
them.
thing we need to talk about.
Now that we're
hive
at
mind.
this point, hive mind. And
That's not in the game.
That's not in the game. And I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna skip a little to the end of the game. I feel like they're only doing this, like when Tess gets infected, which that happens later on in the episode. In the game, what happens? The Fireflies or the SWAT team of the area shows up to do whatever they do, right? And they realize, shit, did Joel and Tess just kill all these people? Let's light it up in this hoe. So what happened? Joel and Ellie started murdering people as they were running. Remember, you run to the building, you jump to another building, you're running. I feel like
out of there.
Like I said when I was watching it, I feel like they're trying purposefully to avoid.
Why would they do that though?
I feel like they're trying to avoid killing humans. So what did they do? They come up with an idea. Oh, hive, so they come instead of having to bring humans.
I don't like the hive.
I don't like that.
I don't like the hive.
When I said that, when I saw them reacting to the sun, I thought that was weird. But then they're saying, "Oh, the roots grow under the roads for miles."
They can change everything they want about the characters and how they move and the direction of where they want to take the show. The only thing I want you not to touch is how the zombies are in the game.
Yes, and
they're touching the fuck out of that, and it's making me mad.
The fuck out of it, like the mouth thing. Episode 1, I gave it an excuse because I was like, okay, it's a little different. All right, go do your thing. Be a little different. Like I said, they're being different the wrong ways, but be a little different. The spores, when I first saw Grandma, I was like, yo, that's nasty. Yeah, it was weird, but I was like, that's nasty. But now,
and, it's cool if it's nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm trying to go into objectively. I'm not trying to compare it to the game every damn time. But the only thing I want you not to change is the zombies from the game, and that's what that's the main thing they're changing.
I will say one thing. The hive thing works probably on clickers, but goddamn, did they kill the clickers? That's the next thing. So after they see that, they go the long way.
The clickers, they did the clickers right.
And those they go in the museum. The museum looked exactly like the game.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, that played his shit off action.
Yeah, bro. Even the freaking
the guns in the display, like
the area they were in looked identical to the game.
And they even instead of in the game when they walked through the door and like it collapsed, in the game they got split up. Tess went her own way and they meet up later, and Joel and Ellie deal with clickers. But like they even did the idea of the thing breaking down. It's pretty cool.
Right, and I'm loving it, but it's showing me that you can copy parts of the show, parts of the game, but you're choosing not to copy the zombies. Why?
Which make no sense.
Why are you putting a twist on the zombies instead of just taking them directly from the game? Just like how you're taking literally piece for piece
dialogue.
Bro, the room looks exactly like the game.
Exactly like the game.
Room looks exactly like the game.
What else happened? Oh, yeah, the clickers. Oh, they killed
They did the clickers right. You know why they did them right? Because they were exactly like the game.
Jinx. One thing they did that was, like, I noticed it first off because in the games, they walk right, and then they will stop and stand still and then like,
scream
like
so that they can kind of get a
like even more
radar of the room, see where things are,
and
then they start moving again.
Like when they're hiding behind the glass and they're doing right, you see the clicker stop, open its arms, and scream. I was like, oh, they did the
definitely immersive. They did that whole part right. They
Immersive.
did that well. Not gonna lie, they did that great.
So, clicker interaction was great.
One thing I loved it.
I understand. It's been 20 years later, and I know they've... Okay, for the first 5 years, clickers probably didn't exist, since it takes probably a year or two.
So you had to,
but
develop.
It's 20 years, and I understand it's in the 10th, so your aim's going to be ass. But, like, he put half a clip in a whole 6 rounds of a revolver in its stomach. I understand it's hard, but he didn't even try to aim and miss for the head. He just straight up blasted in the stomach.
He was kind of like running and shooting backwards.
Yeah, but like,
what's wrong with that?
He didn't even try to shoot it in the head.
I don't know if you have to.
You definitely have to. I feel like
after all those shots he gave it into the sun, he seems unexperienced.
20 years.
20 years. Seems like he doesn't know how to handle a clicker.
And like, I asked you this when watching. I couldn't tell if they're trying to explain Ellie like they're doing. Like, they're trying to explain that it only uses hearing. I didn't know if they were saying, like, oh, I think clickers only use hearing, or they're explaining that to Ellie. I don't know, because it looked like they were that, like, they've interacted.
I don't know if I remember, but I'm pretty sure Ellie was explaining them how they talk like bats before they even interact.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh, I've heard stories to where their faces are spread open and they click and they sound like
exactly.
bats.
So Ellie was talking about clickers before they even got to the clickers, so she already knows that they use echolocation.
And then Joel and Tess looked at each other and they didn't answer the question. I guess not to scare a little kid, but they looked and they're like, and they kept walking until they interacted.
Apparently, they don't know that shooting a clicker 7 times in the stomach doesn't work.
Yeah, and in the game, if you when you get the M16 or even the revolver, if you blast enough shots out of and not even in the head, they do die. But that is a game. But
it's because once again the virus is taking control of their living. They're alive.
Yeah.
So when you put a bunch of holes in them,
that's exactly why. And I don't know how they're gonna do this, but I don't remember their name, and I don't like saying them by their skin color. But when you meet the 2 brothers, remember the 2 brothers?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That part. Where
they better do that right, boy.
Better do that right.
They better do that right, boy.
Knowing the show,
they better not rush that shit.
Knowing the show and how they're doing it, I feel like they're gonna do dialogue for a moment. But remember when he got infected in the game and he's talking to Ellie, he's like, "Do you think they're dead or do you think they're living in an unhostful body?" You know why that's contemplated? Because they're actually not fully dead; they're taken over.
Right.
That shit hard as fuck. So I hope they oomph on that.
They better do that part right, boy. They better do that.
One thing I'm gonna be mad is the way they skipped in episode 1, that whole sewage system where they just skip past that. You remember when
you can skip that kind of stuff. That's fine.
But one thing that's emphasized that remember when the big brother got split up with Ellie and you got split up with Joel with the younger brother and you had to switch that was daughter
cool
brother. I hope they do that in the game.
They're probably gonna do that.
Yeah, they gotta do that, but. Are they? Because they skip such fire parts when you're hiding from the lights. That shit is a cool part, and they skip that there. Are they going to skip that there?
We're going to see, honestly. But, I mean, so far, so good. But it's just, they're rushing it, bro. I can feel it. I can feel them rushing it. They're not taking their time. They need to take their time.
So they did the museum. They murdered
We need to talk more about this hive thing. I do not agree with it.
We're going to get that to when we get to the judge room. I don't know what that area is called. Because that's when they step. No, they didn't even step on someone. They shot a living zombie in the head that just turned, and they all woke up.
That was what the fuck was
they didn't even do the alien. They didn't even do the Stranger Things step on Vecna's worm thing or the hive from Alien hives from Alien 2. They didn't do none of that.
Because Ellie steps on it on the stairs and it didn't do anything.
Because it's deteriorating.
It just made noise and Joel was like, chill.
And then when they're in the museum, Joel didn't step on anything either. He just killed a zombie. So what? They're connected mutually. And if that's the case, I feel like killing one would kill the rest too. If they're that connected.
It's weird, honestly. I don't agree with the hive thing.
Yes.
So let's get to the part.
Yeah. So okay, after the museum, she broke her foot. Whatever, her foot got sprained. They keep walking, and then it skips to them next to They go into the museum. They realize yo, why is there a truck? Why is it empty? They realize blood. They walk in, bunch of dead people, and then Tessa's like, they gotta have a map. They gotta have this. She's struggling because she was bit and she was trying to help.
Right.
And then that's when you continue because now you.
That's the part. That's the part where the little zombie on the ground, kind of one of the humans who just went through his beef, turned basically, and he starts crawling at them, and they shoot him in the head. He's dead, and then some freaking plants come out the ground.
Oh yeah,
then start going in his fingernails and shit, whatever.
Yeah, you see him dead on the floor, and then you see shit growing on his hand.
Right, and first of all, plants don't grow that fast, bro. First of all,
that's why there's 365-day time lapses on YouTube on a plant
growing. Literally,
it's not like a week. Oh, it grows a lot. It's like a whole year video of them growing.
It feels unrealistic and unimmersive again. It feels like it doesn't feel like an Earth plant. It feels like an alien plant.
Yeah, one thing I'm gonna
say. What kind of plant moves and operates like that other than a Venus flytrap, which can only contract once and then it'll take fucking 5 minutes to open back up again.
After it
plants are slow as shit.
Slow as shit.
These plants are freaking growing into the freaking person's hand. And what does that have to do with anything? What did the plant going into the dude's hand mean for it to communicate, zombies come here?
Yeah, that's another thing. So I understand.
It's a hive mind. It's not an actual mind. It's not intelligent.
That shit growing would happen. Like, that shit happens with plants. Like, the plants, the vines that grow on trees and suffocate the trees and kill it. But how long does that take? A long time.
Takes fucking weeks.
So, like, I understand, but, like, that thing growing, the way it grew so fast, that would probably take, like, a week or 2 weeks for it to get that far up its hand already.
Okay, maybe a day.
Maybe a day since it's
evolved. I'll give it 24 hours.
Yeah.
Not 30 seconds, less than that.
And that's another question. So when it died, did the gunshot of a clicker or a zombie dying revive the hive and be like, oh, a friend died? Or was it the plant crawling on it being like, oh, wake up, hive, someone died? Like, how?
It didn't make sense.
Are they connected, like, spiritually, or what's that thing called? Telepathically? Like,
telepathically, right? It's weird.
It's weird.
And she did test dish say, "Oh, it's all throughout the roots and
yeah." They say
it
grows under the ground for miles, or like miles, or whatever.
That's fine though. But what did the roots know when it touched that guy?
I don't like that. There's a hive in general.
I don't like the hive mind, bro. I'm over here trying to explain it when I'd rather just not.
I feel like, okay, say the hive mind, and those who've played the game understand. Like, I don't know if they like.
There's no damn hive mind.
There's no hive. What are they gonna do in the future? Like, remember that part? You gotta pull the generator, that in that dark area with bloaters. Okay, so when you
like hive mind is just going to freaking bombard them every time.
Every time, so
in
like,
every situation.
Every situation, there's one zombie. Boom, it dies. It's gonna attract a hive. Like, they're doing that.
Also, how does the hive mind work? Does one mind telepathically have the ability to communicate with the rest, or does it have to be connected to the ground's little tiny roots? And how does bro, it's ass. I don't like it. Does that mean the zombies that are over there, the ones that are walking and not laying down in the roots, aren't going to hear the signal? Exactly. Or only the zombies laying down in the roots going to hear the signal?
And that's another thing. Obviously, this is a nitpick, and it doesn't matter, but why are the zombies laying down? They don't sleep. I feel like they're laying down just so the hive thing could work. Because I swear, zombies don't lay down. They sit in the corner.
Yeah, they do that weird.
But that's when I feel like that's after like an hour after they turn.
That's supposed to be like early symptoms.
Why are they laying down sleeping? Like, they're not even sleeping. When the shadow crossed over them, they're all tweaking out. But like, why were they laying on the floor?
They were tweaking out collectively because they're a hive mind.
Yes, like in The Walking Dead, when zombies are left alone, like in The Walking Dead, they just be on the floor acting dead, and then when noise happens, they wake up. But this isn't The Walking Dead. In the game, you would see them just walking around looking for people. And I don't think they eat, but I don't think they get hungry to thrive for food and explore. They just be walking, waiting for something. They thrive to spread.
Literally, their whole purpose is just spread. It's a virus. Spread. That's all they care about is spreading.
So I don't get that little on the floor thing.
Yeah, I really don't like the hive thing. It's bothering me. Like I said, you can take any part of the show and you can change it. You can change decisions that Joel makes and Ellie makes. As long as the zombies are pure from the game, I'm going to be happy.
The clickers were pure from the game, in my opinion.
The clickers were. But now they're no longer pure because they're interlinked with the fucking hive mind.
They contradicted themselves because, what, do they have, like you said, are they telepathically, or is it the root thing? Because the clickers died, and then what, just because it was the clickers' first interaction, they didn't want to bring the hive? How does that work?
And does the hive mind only work with zombies that are interconnected with roots?
Like, do they have to be touched by the roots?
Right. Can a zombie that's just walking, across the street, is it connected to the hive mind?
Or do they have to be like touching the grass or laying down like they all were, and the dead one were when the roots touched him, and it woke the laying ones down?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird.
It's a weird take. They're gonna have to do something really spectacular with it for me to like it. But right now, I really don't. I do not like the hive mind.
I will say one thing. One thing that I like is, they're in the Walking Dead, their zombies are trash, so they have thousands of zombies in one group, right, to make them menacing. In Last of Us 1 and Slick 2, I never interacted with over 100 zombies or like saw them sneaking by. I never interacted with that many zombies. Usually they're scattered. So when they do this hive mind thing, they're gonna have to be different. Like,
Last of Us has never had scattered anymore.
Yeah, Last of Us has never had a scattered thing. I mean, a hive thing, or like a group of zombies bundled up, because they're not trying to be bundled up.
In The Last of Us, I've been chased by like 100 zombies, and you have to fucking get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, but that's after you accumulated them of making noise. They don't walk together.
Yeah, they don't really stick in packs. They kind of just walk around aimlessly until something gives them a reason to spread.
Yeah.
and now it's hive mind. I really don't like the hive mind.
Okay.
Kind of upsetting. I'm not gonna lie.
That after the episode when we were talking about before that we did the pod, but it ruined it. And another thing, so let's move past that. The hive is stupid. We could go probably hours on how stupid that.
The hive mind is, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I feel like I don't remember, but when Tess was looking for the map. She was like, "Oh shit, she's infected." Like I realized, oh, that's exact dialogue.
That was cool. I like that. I like how Ellie kind of saw that.
And then when I realized that, and I was like, "Oh shit, are the humans gonna come?" Because what Tess did in the game, she was like, "You guys go, I'm gonna hold them off." And that's one thing that makes Joel shit. Oh shit, we gotta go. And then as you're running up the stairs, ready to run from the enemies, you literally hear Tess. You hear her die. And imagine being Joel.
You hear the bullets stopping.
Yeah, and then
it's really cool.
In the game, they don't. It's not because it's an old game. In the remake, it's probably different. But in the show, Joel should have had damn, she just got shot down as she's running. Yeah. But they can't do that because they don't want to do any human interaction. And
the human interaction made sense in the game because gunshots just went off and there's supposed to be a little trade there.
And maybe I don't think the people
then the army pulls up. It's like, what happened? We heard gunshot. Even in the game, they talk about it and you hear them while they're outside. They're like, what happened? You hear them talking about the gunfires that just went off instead of hive mind plot armor.
Yes, bro, that shit is so whack.
Not and like you said, there should have been a human interaction
at least by now,
like criminal type of
okay, no soldiers.
There's fucked up humans in this world. There's hunters. They're called hunters, right?
Yes.
Some people who are just scavenging and looking through stuff who just thrive in the apocalypse basically by just looting and stuff. There's no humans, bro. There's none of them.
None of that, for real.
It's straight zombies, and if you're not in between, and if you're not in the walls of a civilization, there's no humans. That's just
makes no sense.
First of all, it's not the game, and doesn't make sense.
And say that happened in real life. Yes, there'd be civilizations and group of people making walls and shit. Yes, that'll happen. But then there'll also be lone wolves, maybe small groups of smugglers. There'll be some fun. The Walking Dead. Yes, it's a little unrealistic because it's a show, but shit like Negan. There will be a certain extent of that shit happening. There will be fucked up groups of people that'll do anything to survive.
I haven't seen a fucked up human in the show yet, and it's bothering me.
Bro, one thing
we are only 2 seasons in, but
2 episodes in.
Yeah, I keep saying season. We're only
2 episodes in. That's 5 hours into the main game,
and you've interacted with multiple humans.
Yes, but not once.
I just need the show to show me how fucked up the humans are in the world because of them adapting to the fucked up world they're in.
Yes.
Everybody looks soft and kind of core right now.
Yeah, the only human that was actually kind of fucked up was a dude that he sold drugs to. He was on some.
He wasn't even that fucked up.
He wasn't even that fucked up. He was just he wanted
just on orders.
He wanted hardcore drugs.
Yeah, bro. So I don't know. I'm not getting the vibe right now.
Now, next thing, what happened after that? Oh. He realized they find out she's infected, and Joel's he runs to the door, looks out. I'm guessing he saw them or heard from the echoes a bunch of zombies coming. They're like, we gotta fucking go. So Tess in the game, instead of Tess doing a one last stand with her pistol, which they should have done, she decided to take all the gear, put it on the floor, get the grenades.
Which wasn't bad either.
Yeah, I
wasn't mad at it.
That made sense. And then all the zombies rushing in, and her struggling to light the lighter. That's some movie shit, so I don't mind it. The clicker. Okay, number one.
I knew we was going to get to this part.
That's what I would like. Number 1. The zombies rushing in, right? It makes sense for a couple to pass by, but they're going to notice her. They're not clickers. They're going to see a human on the right and at least.
No, it's kind of fine. I didn't mind the fact that they were just kind of.
One thing I did is when one zombie saw her, and then all the others all stopped and started looking at her. On that part, I'm gonna let you take this since you're.
Bro, when I saw that part, I was scared for Tess. It was scary.
It was damn, she's gonna get beat by 30 zombies.
She's about to get fucked up
on the worst way type shit.
Instead, she gets a fucking French kiss from a zombie, bro. What the fuck was that?
That shit, on. God, I don't care if I'm affected. I'm not letting no zombie tentacles enter my mouth.
Enter my mouth, bro.
I don't care if I was 3 seconds away from dying and I would have felt it halfway.
That shit was weird. Yo, bro, I'm doing something, bro.
I'm doing something.
bro. I don't even know what to say about that.
After that made the morale of the show go down.
I did not. That was weird. Like I felt weirded out.
Like it like ruined it. Like that. Like
I wanted those zombies to beat her ass. I was like, okay, they're not taking the way the game did it. What are they about to do? Oh, these zombies are slowing down. Oh, they're looking at her. Oh, one of them is pressing her. One of them is pressing her. One of them is pressing her. It was like, bro.
That's another thing. Like, okay, like when we were watching it after the episode, and I was like teed about that. Like, I was like, bro, that shit was like, you kind of gave them an excuse. Like, oh, maybe they thought, maybe it knew she was infected.
Yeah, maybe it was.
And if you want to say that, I feel like they would ignore Ellie. Like technically, no, she's.
They would ignore Ellie.
They would ignore Ellie in that sense,
and they would just try to French kiss her.
Yeah, they weren't. I don't think they knew she was affected. I guess you could say the virus knew she was a hostile, and they're just trying to spread a kiss.
Yeah, that was
kiss.
That was whack, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
And she was letting it happen.
I wanted to see her either get bitten,
like it would have made sense. She
started biting her.
Like nothing.
Especially coming from HBO.
Game of Thrones.
They know how to do gore.
They know how to
They know how to spend the money.
You raped her. You murdered her.
They know how to spend the money.
Like
to like the scene when you see the dogs murk the bastard guy, the other Snow.
Or you see
the dog bite into his jaw.
Or you see the Mountain versus Oberyn Martell when he
let me see that zombie start biting into her, but no. Kissed her.
I'm gonna be honest, for this show to be how it is, there hasn't been one set of gore. We've seen dead bodies and like blood and have smashed brain, but we haven't seen it happen.
It kind of seems low budget.
Know what's crazy? I've told you this. If you don't remember, season 1 has a higher budget than season 1 through 4 of Game of Thrones combined. Season 1 through 4 budget of Game of Thrones.
That doesn't even make sense.
Last of Us season 1 has a bigger budget than 1 through 4 of season.
Seems like they're spending most of their money making the area look like the game.
Literally, them green screens going dummy.
Them green screens doing the work right now,
bro.
But yeah, I was disappointed.
Yeah, after that they run and the episode ends.
Really, just my main disappointment through these first 2 episodes is straight up Tess, and the zombies. The hive mind is blowing me. The wheat, the bread, is cause of the infection is blowing me. I don't. Yeah, I like the clickers.
Another thing I'm gonna say, like I said, remember when I said when Joel and Ellie are sitting down, and Joel's like, "You don't say a damn word about Tess. That stays between us only." That might not happen because my memory's kind of muffled. But remember after they got interacted with the humans in the game, and they run down the sewer, and then she breathes spores. Don't they talk about Tess right before that or right after they get out of the spores?
We don't really know until episode 3.
How are they gonna do it though? Because now what they're doing with this hive, like the show was going scene for scene from the game, but now they've changed it, in my opinion, drastically, with no spores in this hive. That some things they might not be able to copy anymore from the game
because of the hive
or the no spores.
Yeah.
Like something.
Well, we don't know no spores yet. That's not really confirmed.
Yeah, like I said with that mask thing from the trailer, that might give us hope. But
is that where the episode ended though?
Yeah, she grabs her hand, Ellie's hand, and she's like, "I'm not going with you, fucker."
Yeah, but I'm saying past this kissing scene.
And then we see kissing, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it ends.
I really never expected to see a zombie kiss Tess.
That shit was weird. And then, like, not only was it weird that she was kissing, it was kind of nasty because you saw the tentacles enter her mouth. Yeah. And she was just like, bro, pause on that. But she was like, right now.
I have no idea. Maybe she was in shock.
That she was being French kissed by a zombie.
Maybe the fact that there was 30 of them motherfuckers in there.
Yeah, and that's one thing I don't like is, like, okay, they need to explain this. I do not care. In the next episode, when they show it 30 years or when the outbreak just started, explain why the zombie was kissing. Was it like, oh, the zombies understand that they're infected, so they spread differently?
I need to know why the zombie
slowed
down. So nice to her.
Yeah, like it just, like no, like no.
Why did the zombie just not instantly start beating her in?
Like, they need a show in when next episode.
And why did all the other zombies back there just like watched? Like they were just paying for their OnlyFans. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, bro, why are the zombies like? They have choices. No. The zombies don't think. They don't have choices. They don't, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They think spread. That's all they think.
That's literally all they think. That's what literally every zombie thing thinks. There's no...
The other zombies were in the background just watching freaking Zombie Hub.
Like, it was cool when they first stopped and shit. Be like, oh shit, there's a human over there. But it would have been cool if they all
started slowly walking closer to her and then pulled up on her, started beating her ass.
It would have been cool if they all stopped like that, and they're like... And then one was walking up, and they're like, oh, shit. And they start walking, and then start dashing at her, and she gets beat.
And then she finally gets the lighter before they get to her, and then everything explodes. Something like that.
But the show is refusing to have human interaction, and Slick, so far, refusing to be gory.
All right, so final verdict of episode 2.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Like, Slick, I want to give it a 7 only because of the clickers. Those clickers were done right.
My God,
those clickers were done right. I was enjoying that part.
I'm going to give it a 7, but then I'm going to stack on all the hive, the kissing, the no gore, the no human interaction, all that dumb shit brings it down to almost a 5.5.
I'm going to keep it at a 6. I'm going to give it a 6.
I'm going to give it a 6.
I'm going to give it a 6.
That shit was whack.
Disappointed.
Very disappointed.
The hive thing is really...
Yeah.
The hive and the kissing. Ooh, that... Boy. That kissing was weird, boy.
Okay, say the hive. Like, okay, say there wasn't no... telekinesis or like hive interaction with that. Like, say there is a hive and there's a group of zombies chilling. I'm gonna give them that excuse, like, oh, zombies are chilling. There's like a group of 100 zombies, but the fact that they're connected is stupid.
It's weird.
Or I feel like they literally did the laying down thing just for the other.
It's something that requires too much explanation.
Yeah, like I swear when they do the next 4 episodes and they do that little,
it's very interesting.
5-minute cutscene at the beginning. I need to see some shit on explaining more of the apocalypse.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna end it there. We got a verdict.
We got a verdict. We got most of it.
I'm still enjoying the show though.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
I will not say I don't like the show. I just don't like a lot of things that they're choosing to do that just seem unnecessary.
I gotta ask one thing though. Like, we all know games into shows or movies, World at Warcraft
are always trash.
Dog shit. Well, Assassin's Creed, dog shit. Now,
Resident Evil did it pretty well. They're dog shit, but
the OG Resident Evil,
OG one, those were
good. The later on they got whacked. Those were good. And then there's a. Okay, I understand.
I like Resident Evil's the only one that's done.
I understand the Witcher is going off of the books, but it also
that show is trash to me.
The show is trash, but it's going.
I wish
off
we
of
could get deep into that, but it's kind of this time's already passed.
The show's taking off of the books, but it's also trying to fan cast off of characters that look like the game. So, out of all the shows that I'm gonna include Witcher, I know it's a part of the books, but it really got famous because of the game. So I'm gonna include Witcher.
Evil. What else? There has to be more.
Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed, that World at Warcraft.
Assassin's Creed did a show.
A movie. And you remember that World at Warcraft? No, I didn't because I heard that it was bad. You know that World at Warcraft movie with the big orcs and humans and shit?
Hell no, I didn't even watch that.
You watched that shit with Ahmed, I remember. But
that movie was dog shit.
Dog shit. The CGI was good, but dog shit. Like that's another one. So that's like 4. I feel like this on episode 2 has so far ranked the highest out of all of those.
Definitely the best game to show / movie world so far.
So far.
Definitely. It's good.
And close second is Resident Evil. No, and almost close. First is Resident Evil, depending on how this shit is going.
This shit goes.
And then in third is Witcher. I'm going to give it Witcher.
Yeah, Witcher fell off, though.
I'm going to be honest. Season 1, Witcher was good. It wasn't good. It was the Butcher of Blaviken. They killed that shit. Oh, my. And there was no game they were going off of. They're going off the books like Game of Thrones was doing, so they could be a little creative.
They were inspired by the game.
Yeah, they were. That's why.
The game literally blew up the freaking books.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand it's off the books, but I'm putting it in the game category because it wouldn't
have become a show without the book, without the
that game. Yeah. And they're fan casting off the like. Henry Cavill doesn't look like Witcher from the game, but he killed that shit to the fullest.
I'll fuck
Cirilla, they killed Cirilla too.
Yeah, they did. They did a good job, but that's all they did.
That's all they did.
Right, was Cirilla and Geralt. Everything else around them was just underwhelming. But yeah. So,
final verdict 6 for episode 2. Episode 1 was we gave it an 8.
Episode 1 was bussin'.
Episode 1 oh my god, bro. Great episode 1.
It was a good episode. I liked episode 1.
Episode 1 gave me hope for episode 2, and episode 2 is not giving me hope for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
fuck episode 3.
Literally, it's because of the hive mind.
Yeah, the hive mind and the kissing.
The hive mind changes so much. Yeah, the kissing. Oh,
I keep
forgetting that even happened.
I'm honestly so much more mad at the kissing. The hive mind is generally stupider.
You could work with the hive mind,
but that
kissing felt so unnecessary. That was strange.
So stupid.
It made the zombies were out of character
completely. I never thought I would say this, but zombies have character now, and they're out of character.
They're out of character. But yeah, we're gonna end it
here.
Appreciate y'all for watching.
Appreciate y'all. That was our review episode
1 and 2 combo.
Yeah, combo. So next episode of 3, if we're most likely gonna do it after the episode, it's probably gonna be a lot shorter.
Yeah,
because we had to review 2 episodes
in one.
And instead of zooming past episode 1, we went in detail about episode 1. So episode 3 is gonna be a lot shorter. Probably about I don't know how long this was. Probably an hour or 2 hours.
Probably half of it.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be half of it.
Probably like a 30, 35, 40
That depends on how. I think episode 1, we reviewed episode 1 faster than we reviewed episode 2 faster than episode 1 because episode 1 was an extra 30 minutes longer than episode 2.
It was longer. Yeah,
and I've heard that the next episodes coming up are going to be on some final season Stranger Things shit, like hour and a half, 2 hours, 50 minutes, an hour.
Bro, we're gonna see because right now
it's disappointing.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, but we're gonna end it here. I'll see y'all. We'll see y'all in the next episode of.
See y'all on episode 3. I appreciate y'all for watching.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, good pod.
Let me know what y'all verdicts are, because I want to make sure I'm not tripping about episode 1 and 2. Let me know what y'all think. Put your comments put your comments below.
In the video, the TikToks, some shit like that.
Yeah, whatever we're posting this on. Let me know what y'all think about. We can kind of skip episode 1. Episode 1 was great. We could kind of all
we had some.
Let me know your verdict on episode 2, because I was
that kissing, bro.
Well, I feel like I'm being harsh with the 6. I don't know. Y'all let me know.
I'm not being harsh with that 6.
Just let me know what y'all think.
Yeah. Well, I'm finna go.
Appreciate y'all. We busy. We got things to do tomorrow.
Yeah.